Wednesday, July 22nd. It is a beautiful Wednesday night. We just got done with a 7-on-7. High school football is 9 days away from two-a-days. And speaking of 2 days, not only do we have Scott Dawg Cameron is here as always, but we have a special guest, a GALION legend, GALION alumni. Just a few years ago, you got to experience 2 days for the final time, at the high school level. Holden, HoHo, Hunter. HoHo, it is a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. It's Sabo Standard. It's been in the works. We talked about it a lot before it was a thing. So I remember you talking about it when we were doing equipment turn-in my senior year. So it was pretty cool to see it come along and finally get the wheels turning.
I know.
Don't
you
butter him up.
This is year 3 since he's been gone, and so I talked about it then and just never got around to doing it. And then last year, once we started, you were over at doing your college football thing, and so just the process of it all, and you've been around all summer, and it's like we gotta do it. So finally, be able to get you on with us. So we are excited that you are here.
The legend.
Far from it, but I try.
Hey, I do have a question because we were just talking about it the other day. Like, we have there's some pretty good freshmen in this year's class. Obviously, Kerr and Kane Hay 2 years ago were really, really good special freshmen. Did you play any JV games as a freshman, or did you? Because if you got one, it was one, but I don't remember you having one.
I played one JV game. It was a River Valley game, and then it was because that River Valley game was the lightning delay game, so we had an hour and 20 minutes in the locker room. I remember me and Justin Lester sitting in the locker room. We were talking, and then the next day, Wilson comes in and his face mask was bent in, and then the next week I got my start, and it was a history since then.
Yeah. Well, that River Valley game. So this was a COVID year, and so it was like all conference games only. We get to River Valley. It is pouring rain there, and we have a lightning delay, and we go inside, and that one was a long one. I think like you said, it was an hour and a half, and then they're like, "Hey, we're good to go," and so we kind of get like loose and everything. We start walking out on the field to get warmed up, and at lightning again, they said, "You guys gotta go back in," and so we had to reset it. And I remember they're feeding you guys hot dogs like and before the game even started. We did lose that night. We did not get a chance to get a field goal off but like. In River Valley, it's so funny. Like, a team that goes 5 wide has the worst field on the planet, and when it rains, like, you take a step on their field and you just sink in 2 or 3 feet. And as a player, that's fun. As a coach, it is awful. Rain games as a coach is awful because you're just miserable standing there. Your feet are soaked, and you don't even get to like enjoy like being in the mud.
I would argue that it's worse being a player because like you remember our senior year when we played Winford. Like, it should have been close. It should have been a blowout. But, because it was the Mud Bowl, it was a close game. The mud's fun, but, it definitely hinders, especially what you're trying to do. Especially with, not a well-maintained field. It's going to be slippery, and you're going to slide everywhere. Yeah. And your running back's going to be slower. Gabe was slower that game, and it just showed.
I've got you both beat. I've got you both beat. The worst one.
Hold on. The worst thing about that Winford game, real quick, we played on a Thursday. You guys played on a Thursday night that year.
Yes.
The next day, that Friday, was the most beautiful day of the year because Coach Dick and I and Roston, we went to Cary and Hopewell out, and it was the most perfect, beautiful night of football. Had we got to play on a Friday, you would have got to enjoy the perfect weather. Instead, we were playing in downpour.
Yeah.
Listen. So you're talking about River Valley's field. So a couple years ago, I was calling games for 1490 WMRN. Football games, and week 10, Clear Fork at River Valley.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And so I'm sitting on the sideline because I'm the sideline reporter, and the other two guys are up in the booth, and listen, it's the only time in my life where I've worn frog togs and I still was soaked.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hurricane, and it was unbelievable. Like, water was it was soaking all the way up, capillary action to my knees. It was insane. Oh, it was miserable. It was cold.
There's pictures from that game.
So bad.
There's pictures from that game. You can't tell who's Clear Fork and who's River Valley. It was that muddy.
Yeah,
so that's pretty awesome.
That game. That was definitely one I remember for the rest of my life. It was nuts. So, hey, great conversation starter.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So So yeah, but football, there's a lot of sports that there's rain and stuff and you can't play, but football, soccer, those are ones that you're playing no matter what.
Yeah.
Unless there's lightning, you're playing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get brutal.
It also makes the sport too, because you think about it, like the Browns stadium, they have an advantage when they play in the Browns stadium and it's cold out. Like team from south comes up and plays up north, they're going to struggle because they haven't played in the cold like that. And we benefited from that a lot because we ran the ball a lot. So in the mud, we were all right, but it was still muddy and ball security was not a thing for both teams. So it was just kind of like a flip of a ball, whoever's going to get it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the Browns with the AFC North, that's supposed to be the MO for the Steelers, for the Bengals, for the Browns. The Browns are going to get rid of that when they build the dome. Like, you're getting rid of that home field advantage and all parts to it.
Don't the Bills have a dome now too?
No, it's an open stadium still.
That's right.
Now they have
I remember
the
it was supposed to be a dome.
Warm field, so the snow won't build up on it, but it will still be cold, and you still get that advantage. And I don't know. There's just something about when it gets cold. It sucks. It sucks in some parts, but it is that home field advantage, like you said. So
it's a Norman Rockwell football Americana.
Yep.
That's where men are made.
Yep. So let's get into our first discussion with HoHo joining us. Scott, you can kind of paint the picture. Let's talk some sportsmanship because HoHo, you are a trash talker 100%.
Whoa. It wasn't that bad. That bad.
Oh, you are one of the worst trash talkers I've ever been around, especially for a lineman. Okay. And so your idea of sport, and I'm not saying you're not a good sport because you are a good sport, but I'm interested to hear Scott's scenario, and then just to hear what you say.
Let me chime in real quick though. Surprisingly, when I would talk my talk, it would be at practice, right? That's where you got it. In the games, I was a very silent killer until someone said something to me. So I was never the initiator. Let's get my verdict straight. I was never the initiator. I was the responder.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I just want to clear my name before I get bad math for sportsmanship. I think I only remember 2 instances where it was my fault. But besides that, only 2. Right. Out of 40 high school starts, that's pretty good. That's pretty good percentage. I'm batting pretty good.
And Holden Hunter's Heart of Gold. Well, this kind of stemmed from the World Cup final after the game, and Leandro Paredes from Argentina starts choking Eric Garcia from Spain. I'm like, that's so embarrassing, And so this I had this something personal in my own life. And we were talking about this a few months ago, if you remember, teams not shaking hands at the end of games, college, World Series stuff and all bull crap. So I'm at this softball game. I'm at a softball game, and I'm watching the game play before us because it's a tournament. We're playing this next team. This guy gets beaten left field by a girl, and now the girl, she's a great hitter, and he wasn't expecting that. So I yelled down. I said, "Is that going to be a story on how I met my mother?" Because he's a young guy, and he goes, "I'm married." I'm like, "Sorry, Brohim." So then we end up playing that team the next game. He gets on second base, and all of a sudden, I go, "Hey man, were you the guy in left field last game?" And all I was gonna say is "Hey, I wasn't trying to make you mad or anything, just kind of bury it." And he goes, "Yeah, that was me." He goes, "Shut up! I'm not here to talk and have fun. I'm here to play ball." I'm like, "Okay, man, all right, whatever." So keep going to the game, and then he gets on second the next time, and I said, "Hey, man," I said, "I have a question. How old are you?" And he goes, "Doesn't matter to you. You're 19 years past your prime, you old man." He goes, "What do you do? Just stand there all day?" I'm like, what are you talking about, man? And I said, "Man, listen," I said, "I was your age once. I understand." I said, "Maybe you'll even out one of these days." He's like, "Whatever." No, fine. He goes in, he scores, and he goes over to the on-deck circle, and some guy's swinging a bat, and it pops that kid right in the head. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is sports karma," And I'm asking their coach, I'm like, "Is this guy always mad? Why is he so angry? What's his problem?" I understand it's a tournament, but I mean, I just don't care that much anymore, you know? And so, you know, he ends up having a concussion, and he's playing. Long story short, it gets dark, goes into extra innings. We have to finish the game this past Monday. And, you know, and he's out there, and he gets on second base. I'm pitching, and I said, hey, man, I said, how's everything with your head? You good? He goes, I'm fine. I said, okay, good. At the end of the game, we beat him. And I went over and I said, hey, and everyone's gathering around, and I said, hey, man, listen. I said, we started things off on the wrong foot last week, and I'm sorry. I said, my name's Scott. And he said, my name is, you know. And I said, all right, listen, man. I said, last week, what I was saying is tongue-in-cheek. It's supposed to be just kind of a joke thing. And, you know, I think you might have took it the wrong way. That's my bad. He goes, no, listen, man. He goes, you went too far, but I went too far also. We're good. I said, awesome, man, thanks. You know, it's just burying the hatchet, you know, like sportsmanship, just, you know, bringing stuff together. It's not that big a deal in the end of things. And I'm like, you know, what's the deal with Argentina? Why are they such babies? I know it's the World Cup, but, like, why are you picking fights? What's the problem?
Yeah. No, I this is where I'm going to defend HoHo. Never once after a game was there any bad blood ever. I think, like, in the spirit of sports, especially in a sport like football, right, where it's so physical, every single play, there are the intention is to tackle the other team and bring him down to the ground. Linemen and D linemen, you are engaged every single play. You know, there is that intent every single. But when the game's over, the game's over, and all that trash talk, and you kind of see it now with, like, the NFL, like the jersey, you know, take my jersey and this and that, like. I think there's that level of respect, especially within the realm of football. HoHo, you know, you played it, and you played it very recently, and you played it at a very physical level. You played it within the college level. You know, go ahead, floor is yours.
I would say trash talk elevates everybody's game. Like, you think you're playing a pickup basketball game with your buddies. And if you're not talking crap, is there any blood in the game? You know, is there any heart in that game? If I'm not getting crap talked to me, like, do they really want to win that bad? You know, like, even like poking fun jokes. You know, I mean, I think it's just a part of the fun of the game for sure. Because I've had moments like whenever I'm talking to somebody, it's always like sarcastically. I don't know. It's just trying to make them, like, I don't know, think about what they're saying and, like, realize how dumb it is. And it's fun because then they realize it, and then, like, that you can see it. And then, I mean, once if you're dominating someone and they're still talking, it just makes it even better, you know? So I just think it's, like, an aspect of sports that has to be there. But I agree with Sabo. Like, once the game's over, it's over. Like, it's done. You know what I mean? But there are those people that have those rivalries, and that's what makes sports great, is the rivalries in sports. And sometimes, like, I have those rivalries with certain people, and, like, especially when I was in high school, there was those certain people that, like, yeah, he talked to me during the game, we talked during the game, but after the game, like, we shook hands, but we still don't like each other. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but you shook
that
hands.
rivalry, we still shook hands. That rivalry builds emotion in the game, and especially in football, it's such an emotional sport. It's gonna make the game better to watch and a better production for both teams. So I think it's a needed aspect, but there's also everything in moderation. You know what I mean? You can't go out there and talk crazy and expect not somebody to check you. So I mean, it's always fun. Well, it's always fun, but especially, like, you have to bury the hatchet eventually.
Yeah, and what stemmed it is the World Cup thing, and you're right. Like, Argentina, first off, you're defending champions. You went back and had a chance to go back to back, and in the realm of soccer, from what I've learned over the last 3 months as we've been, you know, World Cup experts, is that Spain is really good. Spain allowed 1 goal all tournament long. And so you got dominated, and then you want to act like that afterwards. And I do think it's a little silly that the World Cup is like, yes, losers, you just stand out here and watch the team receive their trophy and everything. Like, just shake hands and then go inside. Like, the NBA Finals just happened. The Spurs didn't stay in on the field, on the court, and watch the Knicks hoist a trophy. They you know, shake your hands and you get off the court. And I think that, like, you know, there's certain things within sports that almost incentivize violence sometimes, and that is one of those things where it's like you're just incentivizing for there to be bad blood and for there to be just a reason for somebody else to be mad. Shake your hands and get off the field. Let Spain enjoy that moment, especially after kicking your butt, dominating you the way they did.
Yeah, you gotta take
it doesn't set up a good scenario. You know, where cooler heads can prevail.
you gotta take your beating. Like if you're out there talking, you get beat. You just gotta shut up and take it. At that point, I mean, you play with fire, you're gonna get burnt. So that's what I'm at. If you're not gonna talk the talk, you better walk the walk. And if you don't walk the walk, it's gonna be a long walk home with an L in your pocket. So, is it bad to say that I didn't watch a single minute of the World Cup?
No,
because
because
second.
I never have until this one. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it for most parts. I won't watch soccer again until the 2032 or 2030 World Cup. But I'll be tuned in when it comes to that point. But running a sports podcast now with a soccer guy and then having a soccer guest, I got into it. I mean, I enjoyed my moments of it. So, and I even we're gonna do good dog bad dog in just a second. But my very first good dog segment we ever did, I even gave it to a soccer player, to Erling Holland. So. Let's get into good dog, bad dog. HoHo, I kind of explained to you what this is, but I'm going to give you just one more chance.
I have mine prepped. I know what I'm going to. I know what I'm going.
So this is good dog. This is bad dog. HoHo, as our guest of honor, you are going to go first with your good dog for the week.
So we go, good dog, and then we go good dogs and then bad dogs in a row.
We'll all three do good dogs, and then we'll all three do bad dogs. So you go ahead and go
first. This is the good dog.
Yep.
The good dog. So, not professional sports, but I'm going to give a shout out to Bob Does Sports and the guys on Bob Does Sports. I'm actually repping the merch right now. Really just innovating the YouTube golf game. They're not very good at golf, but they're bringing comedy to the game, and they're bringing more people to the game, and it's just fun to see those guys go out there and enjoy it. And like, think about it, their job is to go out there and golf their buddies for 4 hours a day and put it on YouTube and act like idiots. Like, that's awesome to me. And I feel like especially the golf culture, I don't know if you guys have been around it a lot, but it's like there's a lot of snootiness and people who think they're just a lot better than you. Like, if you go out to golf course around us, if you're not above the age of 30 and have a Nike belt, you're not going to get respect out there. So those guys bringing light to the lightheartedness of the game and how fun it can be for younger people who want to play the game, it's just good for the sport, and I think it's good all around. And you see that change in like professional golf with like DeChambeau, controversial guy, I know, but he does bring in a lot of newer, younger viewers, and it's just making the sport fun again, and people want to actually play it instead of going in there and dealing with the snooty people that think they're better than you because they play golf.
I agree.
Listen, real quick, I want to second him. I want to second him real quick. Golf is one of those sports where you have to go dressed to play, and what you wear is very important. It's like flair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like. Yeah, so Holden is exactly right on that. Yeah, good stuff, Holden.
All right, you're up next.
You're not as dumb as you look.
Actually, I'm pretty smart.
Hey, he is. Listen, I'll give HoHo that.
I can tell.
HoHo is a smart football player. I'm going to give you your flowers at the end. I'll give you a little bit of praise at the end. All right, Scott, you're up.
Oh, that's good. My good dog. Oh man, I tell you what. The whole World Cup in general was fantastic for everybody. Now, there were some that did not have as pleasant experiences. You know, the whole Iran situation was not pleasant particularly. You know, Argentina was mad at the end and stuff. But overall, is a win. Not only for the sport, not only for the teams, but the businesses, the local businesses, the United States, Canada, Mexico, people got to see the best of these three great nations, and it's just a success worldwide, globally. You can't miss, slam dunk, things went well, nothing really stupid happened. There was controversies, but there's going to be, anytime you have that junk, you know, a big event like that. So, great event, good stuff, and I'm glad we got to see it and experience it.
Yeah, America put on a show. Mexico and Canada, whatever. You guys got to like tag along with your names on it. This was America's show, and America put it on. And and the World Cup final had more. And this is where this is a global sport. It got more viewerships than the highest rated NBA game of all time, highest rated Major League Baseball game of all time. The only thing in America that's topped it is obviously football. So. It was a fun tournament. Whether you watched it or not, like you got to see the growth of it in our country, and people from outside the United States who maybe look down on Americans come here and be like, "Hey, these people aren't too bad. They're actually a little bit of fun." So
yeah.
Did you see the videos of the people coming in for the World Cup and trying like American food for the first time? Like Japanese people trying American barbecue. Those videos are awesome.
I love ranch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, ranch. Ranch, the thing we take for, like, when they're like, do you like ranch? You want ranch with that? And here in America, we're like, nah. And they're like, oh, I can't get enough of the ranch.
I know. Like, we know
Smuggling
ranch,
it in
like,
their briefcase, you know?
like your Rooster's ranch is so much better than like your Beat-Ups ranch. Your Beat-Ups ranch is so much better than like your at-home ranch. These people are getting like Hidden Valley and thinking it's like liquid gold.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You're throwing shade on the. You used to be a beat-up guy. Don't throw shade on the beat-up.
No.
Beat-up is there for you when you didn't have enough for that Roosters luxury. Well, hold on.
Listen,
I take that back because beat-up is expensive, so they kind of
Yes.
skin
It
in
is.
both ways.
Yeah.
But like I said, Roosters just like Roosters, your Wingstop, your Warriors
Oh, I
Pizza,
agree.
like your Baker's Pizza, top tier. And then the Beat-Ups is the next one. My good dog of the week.
The
This is
wing
a
bundles are good.
Yeah.
The wing bundles are good.
You're getting chicken nuggets though.
Excuse my technical difficulties. I'm trying to find a good how to prop up this phone.
My good dog of the week is not it is not a sports guy, but I'm gonna go with last Wednesday, Thursday, new teacher at Gallion City Schools. So very looking forward to going back to work in these next few weeks. I had to go to a authentic learning conference, and I heard the hype on this guy, Buddy Berry. Okay, he is a superintendent of this Eminence School, independent school in Kentucky, and I heard the hype. You gotta go listen to him talk. Like he is fantastic, and I'm like, all right, well, I hear this before. I go listen to somebody, and it's bore. Buddy Berry is just, if you ever go to a teacher conference in HoHo, you're going to school to be a teacher. You want to be a teacher someday. Sky, obviously you are in the business. If you ever go somewhere to any conference and this man Buddy Berry is talking to you or giving a presentation, go listen to him. Just the type of energy, the type of care and passion for teaching and education students, and he's got a pretty cool school over at in Kentucky at this. Like I said, it's Eminence. I'm at the point now, like I want to go look at the school that he has. Very big into authentic learning, very big into that wow moment as a teacher, trying to get kids to want to learn. So, Buddy Berry, you are my good dog of the week.
That's a good. I like that point because, like, the enthusiasm point, and we talked about it just the other day. Like, we're talking about your enthusiasm in teaching and how school districts of our appealing nature, right? The ones that we think of are not seeing you as a prime option. Like you've been here for us all the time, and I'm like, Sabo's been the guy. He's been here, invested here. He's coached here. He's obviously passionate about Gallion. So it was a no-brainer, and I'm glad to see you finally got the job. And good hire for Gallion. I'm proud of him.
I appreciate it.
Getting it right.
I can't wait. You're going to join someday. When time is right for you, you're going to be there too. So.
Now, listen, I do have a question, though, because, Holden was kind of talking about, exchanging jerseys and stuff, and I know after a really good, intense show, Sabo, you like to ask for us to exchange briefs and underwear. Did you do that with this special speaker? Where you're, really impressed, hey, man, send me your underwear? Yeah, man, I'll send you my underwear.
I actually wasn't wearing any that day, so I had to offer my socks. All right, HoHo, your bad dog of the week.
Bad dog of the week. So, I essentially have two bad dogs of the week.
Oh.
I'm going to go, number one bad dog of the week would be Tom Brady and his beef with Logan Paul. I'm like, dude, Tom Brady, dude.
Is this real beef? Is this real beef?
It's I don't know. They was just something stupid I saw. I saw the clip of it, right? And I'm like, Tom, you're going to box him in 3 years. Are you that hungry for money? There's no reason to associate yourself with that type of beef. You're the greatest quarterback to ever play. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to be like that. You know what I mean? And my second bad dog would be Joe Rogan's cousin, Dana White. Dana White, we don't want to see Justin Gaethje fight. He's not. Well, we want him to see him fight Charles Oliveira or Max Holloway again. That's what the fans want. That's what I want.
Yeah.
But no, he's gonna fight somebody that he's never fought before. That's what his agent came out and said. I'm like, okay, dude. Dana, you call the shots. They know how it rolls. Get the fight that people want because end all be all. That's what we're here for. And shout out Joe Rogan. He keeps it real on his podcast. He talks about how the both sides of it, and I like that part.
Yeah. I want a Gaethje Charles fight. I don't necessarily. I don't want Gaethje Max to get him because they can't top Gaethje Max the first time. There's no way that they could top it. Max obviously knocked him out in the last second of the fight. And I want like he obviously just beat Taporia. I want Taporia and Patty. Like that's why I want the next big fight to be. I want Patty and Taporia. Give Patty his chance.
I think Patty dominates Taporia.
I agree. I agree. I don't think I think Taporia's that good. All right, Cam Dog, bad dog of the week. I know you're not a big UFC guy.
At least, hey, as long as it's not Conor McGregor. I actually like UFC.
Whoa! Don't hate on Conor McGregor.
Listen, I actually like UFC. It's in a thing, and I just don't watch him. I used to watch it all the time, like 10 years ago. All right, I didn't want to pick on Argentina too much. And Fernandez and his double yellow card. What a ding dong. But my bad dog of the week, I don't know if you've seen this, but the nincompoop, and I'm going to call him that because I don't care, the guy at the Cubs game who sat down during the national anthem, but kudos to the old man who said, stand up. And the guy's like, I don't want to stand up. And he goes, thwack, and he hits him right in the back of the head. Oh, yes! And, so, bad dog for entitled little snot that's like, I don't want to stand for the national anthem. It's like, you know what? It is your right. You don't have to stand. But you know what? 80% of us think you're a douchebag for not standing. It's your right, but there's a lot of things that are your right, but it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
America.
Think.
Yeah. My bad dog of the week is third base coach for the Philadelphia Phillies, Anthony Contreras. I mean, listen, I'm not a big baseball guy by any means. It is a boring sport, and I'm sure being the third base coach might get a little bit boring. But come on, the ninth inning, you better be paying attention to what's going on. Did you see what happened the other day with the Phillies and the Dodgers? Phillies lost 2-1 on a double play, and it is just one of those things where if your third base coach just says, stop running. Game continues on, you have a chance to win. But instead, this dude, he's got his finger up his nose. He's chewing some sunflower seeds. He's probably talking to some lady in the stands who else knows? He might have been making a sandwich. He might have been taking a nap. He was doing everything else other than watching the runner go from second to third as all this mayhem is going on at home plate between third base. Just say stop running. So. Yeah, I'm not a big baseball guy, but when I see a blunder like that, Anthony Contreras, pack your bags, see ya, buddy. They
get paid a lot of money.
So Stupid. Anthony Contreras is my bad dog of the week.
Holden, did you play baseball or did you do track?
I played baseball for the first 3 years, and I threw track my last year.
Hey, shot and disc?
Just shot. I wasn't a disc guy.
Just shot?
Yeah.
My guy shot. Did you do What'd you do? Did you do a glide step? What'd you do?
Yeah, because I was my first year, so I didn't know how. So it was like the first timer, and I was like, better figure this out. I was strong enough to be pretty good at it, so it didn't really matter.
What'd you throw, Holden?
Oh, I think I hit like 49-11. I had to hit 50 to go to state, and I missed it by like a quarter inch. I was like, I was 49-11 and 3/4. Yeah, it was rough.
Dude. Well, that's cool though. I'm a fellow thrower as well, so that's cool stuff. And even though you and I have something in common, but now you and Sabo have something in common, and Sabo and I have, we're all family here, folks. This is a beautiful thing. Sabo, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about?
All right. Well, we got HoHo on. We are in the dog days of summer. We did some college football talk last week, talked about kind of fixing college football, right? And one thing that we talked about a lot was the transfer portal, and getting HoHo on, who's been in the transfer portal twice. And I think we sometimes look at the transfer portal as a bad thing. And HoHo, we've talked a lot about like when we think you should get one free transfer, no matter what, automatically. And then the second transfer, we've been very adamant on have to sit out a year. I obviously don't want to have to see you sit out a year, and you got some other stuff going on too, which I'm going to let you talk about it all. But just we're gonna talk about the end of the high school career, going into college football, and your expectations as a player, and your expectations as for yourself, and what you wanted and what you got, and all those things. And we might disagree on some parts of it, but at the same time too, like we can also get into the level of like D2, D3, or the rules a little bit different than FBS. When the money for Ohio State, Tennessee, Alabama, when those schools have money to offer for NILs to transfer, is it different than at the D2 level where you're not getting NIL money to, get to blow on whatever. No school's offering you millions of dollars. Maybe that conversation changes a little bit our viewpoint of things. But real quick, like end of your high school career comes around. Like, we lose to West Holmes in an absolute heartbreak of a game, one that we went in and beautiful night football, and it was a really good West Holmes team. Felt like we should have won. What's your mindset just going to your senior year with that loss, and then the rest of it before you enroll?
So the back half, so after the loss, it was really like last high school career. It feels like you just lost somebody. Like, you just, like, for the first week, you just, like, stagnant. Like, you're just sitting there, like, in awe. And I feel like the coaches felt that way too, because we were like a tight knitted group, especially with the coaching staff. Like, everybody, we'd go over to Rawson's house and like build his bodega for his pool and then swim in the back of his pool and stuff. Like, that's what we would do. So like, it felt weird, but about like 2 weeks goes by and I kind of realized, like, yeah, it sucks now, but seeing the impacts of what we left on the program was worth it all, really. The way we lost and how we handled the loss and the way we carried ourselves through the losses and through our careers. I think it really shows in the younger guys that definitely that are the older guys in the past like 3 years. I think they lived and learned a lot from us, and I'm grateful for the experiences. And going into like the off season and the recruiting, I was a late bloomer. I was good my freshman and sophomore year. I obviously was good enough to play varsity, but it was like I wasn't college ready yet until my junior year. So recruiting was pretty much slow for me. So the recruiting process, I had offers from pretty much all the GMAC schools, the D2 schools, and just how the D2 works is usually like it goes off academics, which I was like a 4.0 kid, so it was all the same for everything, and then how much money they want to offer you. So that's it's a combined package. You can get a full ride, but majority of the time you're not getting a full ride, just football money. So through the recruiting process, dumb kid coming out of high school, you obviously believe everything the coaches tell you, which I will tell every college recruit right now. Know your coaches, get to know the coaches recruiting you, because it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and it's not fair for anybody. And that's where I think most of the problems stem from, is the nature of college recruiting and the nature of how everything is approached. I feel like it's a two-faced approach for both sides of the higher-ups and like even the players, So I pretty much chose the option of where I felt that I was getting enough money to cover my academics, but also where I could step in early, play early, and potentially see where my football career goes from there. And obviously I went there, played early, had a good season. I started 8 games there as a true freshman, didn't use my red shirt.
ODU.
Yeah, ODU, How Dominican. Had experiences there. Got like college football. Get jitters. Like, people talk about fall camp, guys. It's true. Like, you go in there and you have to be experienced. It's like a fever dream. Your first like 2 days has nothing on fall camp. So like, you go in there, your fever dream. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. All you know is you're eating at noon, and you got practice at 9:25, and you better be in the meeting by 4. You know what I mean? So, getting those first college bumps was good there, especially there. It's always good to go there at a tougher, respected program. But then season rolls around. I figured that wasn't the best place for me. Went to the portal. Mind you, I was very overweight when I went to play there. I was a fat freshman kid. I gained a lot of weight in the offseason. I don't know why I did. I just did. But I was strong, so I was good enough to play. But I figured going somewhere in a new program, the way college football works, the politics within college football, me being overweight, I didn't want to go somewhere and bury myself on a depth chart. Because once you bury yourself, your first impression means everything. So once you bury yourself, it's a scratch fight to the top, and I knew I had to come back home and reinvent myself. That's what I did. Came back, got back into shape, and this past summer I had a few offers, but you know how the portal works. It's very quick. Didn't commit in time, so they just got pulled. So I figured, hey, I need somewhere to play. So I figured out my spot was Heidelberg. Ended up there. Met a lot of good people. Had a lot of good experiences there. And then the last game of the season, minute 30 rolls around, last game on the 30, about to win the game. All we need is a field goal, 3rd down, 3rd and 5, pass set. Guy doesn't even, he barely touches my shoulder, and my ACL pops, both my meniscuses tore. So battling that right now, coming back from that, and seeing where the Lord takes me. It's going to be exciting. I mean, it's the Rocky story. It's going to be exciting. It's tough at times, but I've been through a lot of this stuff, so it's always good to see my career impacting people. Even today, I ran into one of the dads of the freshman football players, and he was talking to me about how like inspiring I was to how we were as a group to the younger generations beneath us. So, having the people in the community see me go through this and allow me to work through it and keep climbing, keep pushing. It's a blessing in disguise for sure.
Yeah. So what? Right now, I know you entered you entered the transfer portal after you tore your ACL, even after tearing your ACL, right?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
You thinking about it maybe?
I was debating it for sure.
Okay.
My options. I just didn't know. It was you go in injured, you don't know what you're going to get. So I figured the safer option was stay somewhere where the people love me and I love the coaching staff. So
Heidelberg is home now.
Oh yeah, currently yes.
Good.
Heidelberg is home.
So you kind of said like you talked about being at ODU and you were going to enter the portal. Before you enter the portal, I'm going to give Coach Dick his flowers when it comes to I think Coach Dick and Scribbs and Sorensen since he's replaced Scribbs know a lot about O-line, and they teach O-line, the coach O-line, and Coach Dick can be tough, and he can be tough to work with. I'm sure he can be tough to get coached by sometimes, but there's always tough love behind it, and I believe in our program. I believe that we love all our kids. There's always great attention, and Coach Dick has that. And I'm sure going to the college level, you said it's an important thing is knowing your coaches and not just going somewhere where somebody says, hey, you're going to play right away. And I know that you kind of talked about like, your coaches at ODU were tough, and the things that are said at high school level are peanuts compared to things that are said at the college level. You don't have to go on things that coaches said to you, but how different was it? Not just the X's and O's part, because that's important too. But just all parts of getting coached at the high school versus college level, versus with a coach who I do believe coached you really hard.
Mm-hmm. So I would say X's and O's wise, I personally didn't struggle with the X's and O's. Our playbook is I think all playbooks are essentially the same thing. You're going to have the same gap schemes, the game zone schemes, and it depends on the player. Of course, like if you can understand the schemes, you can understand any playbook that's ever written by anybody. Mm-hmm. So I once I get a playbook, you give me a week, I'm going to have it down. That was never an issue for me, but I know some really talented freshmen struggled with that, and that's a learning curve for kids that going into college football of just learning the playbook and understanding. Like some kids, like I was talking to some kids when I first got to campus at ODU, they're like, yeah, our plays were named MJ left and MJ right. Like that was the kid getting the ball and he was running right or left. So I was just like, what? But like from the coaching aspect, from college to high school, I felt that like college is a business, and you felt that college was a business. Mm-hmm. High school, you had the tough love of coaching, and when you went to college, well, at least when I went to college, there was no love behind the tough. You know what I mean? So it was just like, you need to produce, or you need to produce right now because I'm depending on you. And I mean, sometimes they try. Sometimes there were some coaches that did. I'll give Coach their flowers where they are. Coach Cummings, he gave a bunch of tough love, and you could tell that he cared about you. But just depending on who you're with and who you're around, there's certain aspects where there's no love behind the tough, and the coaching turns into a business model. And like as a young kid, I was 18 going into college, and I was like, man, these guys don't care about me. I'm just another number. I'm just another product trying to produce for them. And that's what it kind of felt like, and that's what I kind of like fell down in a deep like mental hole of like, man, I don't like football anymore. You know what I mean? I'd call Coach Dick like, dude, this sucks. Like, I don't know why you convinced me to play college football. And I feel like everybody universally, if any college football players listen to this, they can agree to what I just said. Like, you go in there and you're thinking, man, this sucks, right? And just trying to fight through that and understand, like, these coaches have people to provide for. Like, I understand it. Like, they're gonna be intense because you're feeding their kids, right? So I understand that aspect of it, but I also understand the aspect of if you're gonna love your player and you're gonna coach them tough, they're gonna play harder for you because you love them, not because you're tougher on them. You know what I mean? So there's a perfect balance there, and I think just the balance of, especially where I was, it was more towards the tough side, and I didn't feel any love, so I was like, I just wasn't best for me. I made the business decision to leave. Yeah.
So when you do leave, you said kind of the transfer portal, and we see it only at the FBS level, the teams that we pay attention to. You know, player A enters and Bama's calling them, or player B enters and Ohio State's calling them, and they're so quick and there's so much money that's thrown around. At your level, that transfer portal, you enter it. What is that process like? And for you, was it demoralizing at some points? Were you patient? and obviously it worked out for you going to Heidelberg, and you got to play again, and you found home, and I think it seems like you found coaches that the system that cares for you and loves you, but that process and everything. I mean, I remember when you entered and the process again at Heidelberg, it seemed long. It seemed like you had answers one day, and then it was a different story the next day.
It always
what was
was,
that like,
yeah.
and what would you change?
So as the system as the whole, or my process and changing it.
Both.
Okay. So if I were to change my experience with it, I would have went somewhere this spring and had a spring ball. Because I think if I would have went there, I went somewhere, my opportunities, I would have made something out of them. So just regretful and capitalizing on the decisions that were there that are no longer there, which kind of sucks. But like when you enter the portal at D2, it's like you go in that portal, and I remember I was sitting with my roommate in my room, and I used to get a bunch of texts on Twitter, texts on my number, and emails, and they just flooded in like 40 coaches probably that night, just blowing your phone up. And the way I always described it is like your name goes into a file, and they see height, weight, what you played, right? And they're going to look you up on Twitter, see how many games you played, see your film, and they're going to text you from there. It was kind of cool. Like, it was definitely cool of like, oh man, like I got all these coaches texting me like, sweet, I'm excited, let's go, right? You're telling all your buddies on campus, they're like always asking like, dude, were you leaving? Like, and you're like, yeah, and like, who's texting you, right? It was fun. But I would say in my experience, for sure, like just taking a leap of faith and knowing what God has for me, and just trusting that and playing, and not just being so scared to go somewhere and bury myself when I know the person I am. That probably wouldn't have happened. And I think my football career looked different, but I'm happy where I am because I wouldn't be the person I am or know the things I do from where I'm at. And the transfer portal as the whole, I like the transfer portal because I view it as like, you think about how many coaches have different jobs in a 4-year span, right?
Yeah.
You can have a coach have 4 different jobs in a 4-year span, right? So why are we holding us accountable for staying somewhere when coaches are not the same to us? You know what I mean? So it's like, say my coach, I really like if I went there my first year and I really liked that coach and he left 4 different times, and if you guys limited it and I got to sit out a year, I mean, I'm out of luck. But I'm just trying to follow my coach that loved me, right? That I don't want to leave, that's developed me as a man, that I trust with progressing me. Because, like, when you go to college, those are vital years of your life. You're going to learn a lot of things. So I want to follow a coach that has the same, like, morals as me, and, like, I want to more or less be like. So thinking about changing the transfer portal, I was thinking, like, I like the one free transfer idea. I really do. But I don't feel like you should have to sit out the first one. I feel like, because my situation is so different. So
no,
I
think we agree 100%. Like, even at the FBS level, you should get the one free one. And I hear what you're saying about, like, if you love this coach and he has 4 jobs in 4 years, you want to follow him. But at the same time, too, like, I think we also, like, let's say player X goes to Ohio State right now because Ryan Day's there. Ryan Day goes somewhere else. You want to go play for Ryan Day. Ryan Day leaves again. Like, at some point in time, like, I can't jump jobs because I like the principal that goes to this school. Like, I gotta you're an adult, especially it's still in college. That foundation, at some point in time, you got to find it for yourself a little bit. But again, I think when we first started just talking to you at the beginning, as I was saying it, I think our conversation, we always lead back to the FPS level because it's just a different game. It's a different beast, especially with the monies involved. For you and being an Ohio kid and you follow that coach or you want to follow that coach or whatever the situation is, like, I don't know. Like, I hear what you're saying and I almost want to say always, but then at the same time, too, it's like, how much universal does it have to be? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in your shoes to be able to debate it, to know it.
I was thinking more or less the idea of, like, having more officials, like, NCAA officials having appeals. So rather than your second transfer automatically being, oh, you're sitting out a year, appeal the situation. If the guy's just following money, or if the guy's just following, like, say it's an egregious following a coach, right? Maybe then you think about, okay, this guy should maybe sit out, right? And I agree with you. The FBS situation in lower levels is completely different. But I also feel like, at some point, the argument is two-faced because the fans that are preaching tradition and loyalty are expecting the same out of their players, but there's nothing coming against the coaches that leave. You know what I mean? So like the double side accountability, but it's also like the coaches, they do what they want. They made it that far in their career, so it's like you're up on the ladder. I get that argument, but I would just like to see players have the same opportunity to pursue better opportunities through their career, rather than be like, oh yeah, you're stuck here. If you were going to somewhere, you're not going to get your NIL money because you have to sit out a year. So it's like, I'm going to get a better opportunity, but I'm going to get punished because I was trying to find my way. I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, there's something to be said about non-Division One. When you're talking about D2, D3, NAIA, NCCAA, whatever it may be, whatever conference, whatever that looks like, they're comparatively, yes. You're trying to compare, you know, all this money that's flowing out of D1 programs. It's stupid, insane, and it's using your word, it's egregious. Versus lower than that, that's where you are right now. So I think what you're dealing with, Holden, it's not a nefarious thing at all. It's a well-intentioned thing, and you're absolutely right. So maybe that's something to where it's like, okay, you know, I don't know, Holden, if you get any money from any NIL, but if you do, it's not $1 million or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it just pays my rent, whatever. I don't know, whatever. So it's one of those things where if that's the case, you're not chasing money. You might actually be chasing a coach or you know, or whatever that might be. That's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
And so maybe that is something where you appeal it. The problem with the appeal is if you remember when this whole transfer portal thing happened 8-9 years ago, it was all about appeals, and the appeals were for the dumbest things like Quinn Ewers, you know, and stuff like that before, and just dumb stuff that got rubber stamped rather than, okay, actually look at the situation.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you rectify that? Who gets to make that decision? That's hard, you know?
Yeah, even like, so if you look at medical red shirts, they have to approve your medical red shirt like I'm doing this year. Like I'm medical red shirt, and they have to approve it. So like, and I can't just say, oh, I tore my ACL, my meniscus, I want a medical red shirt. No, you have to give them doctor's proof, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I feel like if you almost be like a court case, like you have to present your case to an NCAA official, like try to be like, I want to transfer X, and Y, and like they can look at, like, at that point, if you're throwing around money, they can look at contracts, and like you really have to look at it. Like there's going to be so many different pathways and intentions in a player, like, oh, why do I want to transfer? And looking at all those variables is pretty much impossible. So it's almost a hypothetical situation because there's so many kids in the portal. But I'm saying, like, there's almost like we've come to an era of where it's more or less the NFL. So like we have to protect the players, because if the players aren't protected, then they're going to be like, oh, why can't we go back to the old NIL days? It's going to make a big mess. So there has to be like almost a players association in a way. And I think the bigger schools, like, is there cap limits? Like, why? Like there should be cap limits, because now in modern day football, like, are we going to see one of those lower power schools win a national championship with more games to win it? Maybe, because of just a war of attrition, but it's not likely. And
Indiana doesn't win last year if Mark Cuban doesn't give money to the school to be able to support their football team. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like,
there should be a cap limit, and if we want to see, like, oh, if the kids actually want to go there for their education, like, there should be a cap. There should be equal cap limit, not because there shouldn't be like, oh, Ohio State gets blank money and smaller school gets blank money. No, there should be like a cap limit. Everybody can have this amount of money, and if they can raise that money, great. It kind of equals the playing field, because the bigger schools are going to cap that out, and the smaller schools are not going to, but they're still going to be able to have they're still going to be able to have money. So it's like, it's a hard situation for the NCAA. I mean, there's no right answer, and there's no right answer. I wouldn't say there's no wrong answer, because there's a ton of wrong answers. So
there's a reason why the Dodgers and the Yankees are hated for the abuse of cap space and things of that nature. And it's kind of funny though, because I don't disagree with you, Holden. The cap thing sounds intriguing. The problem is we are a benefactor here in Ohio through Ohio State that we get to enjoy the results of that luxurious spending. We get great teams every year. So it's like, yeah, it's a great idea, Holden, but don't touch my Buckeyes. You know.
Yeah.
Well, you're not talking to a Buckeye diehard fan either. So
Are you a Michigan man?
No, I'm very objective in my football. I rather watch the style of play rather than the jersey of the color of the jersey they wear.
Again, I love Ohio State football, but for the realm, we want college football to be the best that it is, whether it's at the FBS level, the FCS, D1 or D2, D3. Before we move on off the conversation, I have three more things for you. One, I want to talk about just you and the injury, and you said you had to report it, and you had to just I tore my ACL, I did this. This is everything that went on with it, and so that way it's there's proof right here. I need the medical red shirt. Trinidad Chambliss, obviously last year at Ole Miss, broke out. He was at Ferris State, for 4 years playing the D2 football. He redshirted his freshman year, and then his sophomore year dealt with some injury. And I guess the relationship, and this part of everything comes back to positive relationships, and you always had to have that, because apparently the relationship at Ferris State wasn't the greatest. And this last year after Ole Miss, he tried to fight for another year, and the documentation over his injury just wasn't. That's what the NCAA was saying wasn't enough, wasn't legit enough, and it put him in a situation to where then he has to go to the courts and appeal it all. The whole process, I want that process to be eliminated, because I want Trinidad Chambliss, who he got 4 years at Ferris State, technically redshirted, technically a medical red shirt, then played 2 years and then balled at Ole Miss last year. I want to see him at Ole Miss one more year. So it's a win-lose, it's a lose-lose. There's never a win. It feels like it's never a win-win.
I think the medical red shirt, the way it works is, I'm not totally for sure, but I'm pretty sure the way it is if I were to redshirt, so if I was Trinidad, right, and I redshirted my freshman year, and then my sophomore year I had that medical red shirt, I'm pretty sure how it works, it's supposed to work, as in that year of eligibility is burned, but you can redeem your medical red shirt at the end of your last year when you need it. So, it's definitely scary, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong with it, and there needs to be more solidified processes that way, because in my mind, as an athlete, we can do a lot of things to prevent injury, but freak accidents that happen, like my injury, there was no contact. I literally just stepped back and it popped, and there's nothing you can do about that. So it's I'm going to be punished because I got hurt. That's not fair to me, and that's not fair to potential opportunities for scholarships to pay for my schooling, right? If someone like me, a D2 guy, it's or D2, D3 guy, be able to get a scholarship to pay for your school, and I'm getting punished because I got hurt, that's not right to me at all.
Yeah. Coach Dick, obviously we've always been a big gap team, okay? Mm-hmm. And so you learn the gap when you're playing here. We love Trey, we love power.
Yeah.
After being in college for 2 years, are you a gap guy still, or are you a zone guy? What do you like the most?
I'll give Coach Dick his flowers right now, like Asaba was saying. His playbook is it's a college playbook dumbed down for high school kids, and I think he learned that through teaching explicitly and trying to take everything systematically. Mm-hmm. And if you pay attention to his playbook and how he explains it to you, you'll understand every playbook that any college could ever throw at you. Maybe some different tweaks that you have to learn, but besides that, it's everything you need. And stylistically, if I had to pick, your bread and butter is gonna be gap. I mean, it's simple. It gets hard when you get an odd front, but if you got a 4 down front like you see in high school, if I'm a high school coach and I'm picking either a gap scheme or a zone team, I'm picking the gap scheme, because nowadays, especially now, what I've noticed since I go to Lifton Stadium, so I notice the size of the kids. Even from my days 4 years ago, 3 years ago, the O-line play, they're smaller. They're not. I'm not saying it's worse, but they're just not as big dudes. Of course, me and Alex are anomalies.
We don't have the HoHo. We don't have the Alex Griffith on
but
the
you have
O-line
185-pound kids, so when you have the gap scheme, that gives you the opportunity to double team that big nose and move him out of there and get to a linebacker. So I feel there's benefits to a zone scheme when you're in college, and you can mix them with gap schemes. But when you're in high school, the gap scheme, you can use those double teams. And when you're going to zone, it's easier to understand, but you get those one-on-one blocks sometimes, and it's man, he might get mauled. So it's you got to pick and choose. I like to say, when I coach our powder puff team, our flag football team, undefeated by the way, we got to pick how we want to get beat, right? You want to pick how you get beat. So picking the gap scheme as a high school coach is a lot smarter. You're going to get beat, I think, statistically less than on a zone scheme.
There's no doubt that you're going to be teaching at Galleon someday. There's no doubt you're going to be coaching for Galleon someday. So, and I know that every time you're around, Coach Dick's always trying to pull Ho in, trying to pick your brain to help our offense get better. So, even after you graduate, you're still making an impact.
It's good to hear.
Scott, anything else for HoHo in regards to this conversation?
I'm impressed with this young man. I don't know how you maintained a relationship with him, because I don't even like hanging out with you, Sabo. So good for you, Holden, for sticking close and having a good relationship with Sabo. But then again, I don't even like seeing myself get out of the shower, so I don't like myself very much. And I know, so whatever, that's not important. Are we going to do Cameron's conversation?
Yep.
I think Holden has some good information on this.
Oh, he does.
He's a head guy. I like it.
Yep. Canada's conversation is a non-sports related debate, and this is his time to shine.
Okay.
All right. So, real simple. What is the best and worst gas station food or drink items?
Talking
best
hot
and
or
worst.
bagged?
Listen, Holden. Good or bad, best and worst gas station food or drink items. It's wide open.
It's wide open.
Time out. But no Buc-ee's. You can't say Buc-ee's stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Everything's,
I was just figuring, are we going, hypothetically on, the rollers, or, are we going straight bagged items?
Anything
goes. Anything
Yep.
goes. Anything goes. All right.
Yep, anything goes.
One of each, one worst, one best? Okay.
Yep.
One best, one worst.
I'll go first because I have it in mind as soon as you say it. So first off, the worst, and I haven't done this, but my brother did one time. He got gas station sushi, and it did not go well. But I think anytime you go to a gas station, and they have the subs or the sandwiches, like the cold sandwiches that are in the sealed package and everything, you don't want to ever go with those. And then I got two for the best. A roller dog at a Love's gas station, or even you get to go to Sheetz or something. You get to choose on the menu. Those are all great, and I love them. Okay, but most of the time, if I'm going on a car ride and I'm the one driving, it's 2:30 in the morning because Kelly's asleep in the back seat with Grayson. Okay, and I gotta stay awake by myself. I go in, I get myself 2 bags. I get some type of salty snack, and I get some type of sweet candy. And the salty and sweet, I got them both in my lap. I just eat, going back and forth between salty and sweet. And I love a roller dog. I love a Sheetz sandwich. Okay, but when I go to the gas station and I just need that snack to keep me going, maybe a Bugles, Ranch Bugles or Buffalo Bugles, and Sour Patch Kids or something, or the little square airheads. That combination that you're only gonna get by browsing those gas station aisles. That's what I need.
Okay. What about you, Holden?
So if I were going to go, I'm trying to think of my worst one, but I think I have the best one locked. So, I have an honorary. I have actually a few. I like to eat, so we're gonna go through the list.
Yeah, listen, you're joining a panel of fat kids.
You're in a great group.
niche ball reference right here. The brunch burger at the Tiffin Circle K. It might be at the Galleon Circle K. I'm not for sure. I haven't looked yet. But when I was after a long day or in the morning before the camp day, roll over to the Circle K. The brunch burger, phenomenal. Bacon, little over easy egg with the burger patty on a croissant, cheese.
Ooh.
And it's sketchy. It's sketchy because you're at Circle K. But I'm telling you what, I've never had one that was bad. Never ever had one that's bad.
I think Sabo and I need to go out and eat one together.
We gotta go to Circle K. I'm going afterwards.
Sounds good.
I would go with also another good one is the little gummy Skittle bites. You ever had those?
Oh yeah.
Good pull right there. For the worst, there's a lot of bad stuff, right? But
yeah, there is.
I would say I might get some hate for this, but the taquito. Not a big fan of the taquitos. They sketch me out.
Have you ever had the breakfast taquito? The breakfast taquito?
No, I've never had it.
That's where next time you go to Circle K, find the breakfast taquito. I'm telling you, man,
listen. I'm with Holden on this. I was gonna say the roller taquitos or like the egg rolls.
Yeah.
They're just no way.
See, I got a hot dog roller, so I appreciate good roller food.
I know you do. We know all about your roller. Yeah. But yeah, I'm with Holden on this because that was out on my list. See, rollers was on there. It's trash. Anyways, my top one though, a Mountain Dew Freezy. There's something about a Mountain Dew Freezy. And then the candy bars that you can only get at filling stations. Because, like, you can't find a Fifth Avenue just anywhere. Or a good Zero bar. But at the gas station...
He likes old people candy. He doesn't find those
I
that
like a Werther's Originals.
Yeah, you
popsicles
like Werther's Original. And then what's your candy bar that we did like day one together? Your Clark bar.
Clark bar, like Zero bar, Fifth Avenue, Zag
old
Nut,
people
like,
candy.
You can't find that stuff, but at a gas station, you find it, and you pay $9 for it.
There's another niche reference here. The ice cream Snickers bar it's always in the bottom of it. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Now, listen, when you get older. When you get older, you're allowed to buy ice cream and eat ice cream whenever you want for any meal. It's fantastic.
I'm sorry. He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
I gotta watch the cows, dude. I get fat quick. I know how that rolls. So.
Yeah, you've been working hard this summer. You look good right now, and I'm excited to. Hopefully your recovery just keeps getting better, and I know that we'll get to see you play football here soon. And before you know it, the college career is gonna be over, and you're gonna be searching for a job, and hopefully it's in Gallion with the rest of us. And I know you'll be coached soon. HoHo is I told you I'd save it for the end. You are a one-of-a-kind type of kid. Your freshman year, you came in and you played hard and you had good energy, but you're just a fun kid to be around. You're the type of kid that, like Coach Dick and within our program, we always want to say, like, you're the type of kid we want to lose with. Doesn't matter what, we can win with whoever, but do we want to lose with kids? And your senior class, like, looking back at it, you, Gabe, Lincoln, Minyard, Frank House, I'm Logan Scheifele. Like, I'm missing so many names because it was a 13 or 14 of you guys, 12, 13 of you guys that were such a good, fun group. And we go to West Holmes and we lose an absolute heartbreaker. And it was a game that we played phenomenal against a great West Holmes team with a kid who had a full right to Yale, and it was a lot of fun. We lose that game and it sucks, man. And no knock on the next year's seniors, but when you get to June and it's that first day of summer lifting, you're like, man, where those guys go? The guys that we just spent 4 years investing in and having a lot of laughs. And we always say we always joke about, like, your nicknames for the Orange Army back in the day, Weapon X, and but you brought that every single day, and it was just so much fun to be around. And fortunately for us, you're always back in. You're always around the stadium still, especially during the summer as you're getting ready to go back. And someday I look forward to sharing an office with you and listening to you coach and listening to you and Coach Dick go back and forth, because it takes a special person to get to do that, because he is Coach Dick for a reason.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, I'll never forget. I never went out with the freshmen. There was always, my freshman year, the freshmen would go out, and Sabo was manning the freshmen, and I was always watching film for the Friday game. And I remember it was the prep game, so we'd go out and watch for the next Friday. And I'll never forget, I go out there early for some reason. I got sent out early because it was defense. Mm-hmm. I look at Sabo and I go, Sabo, one day you're going to get the rings of this place and you're going to be like Bill Belichick. And it just stuck with me. And then just the epic nicknames we had for Sabo. I mean, Sabo is one of those coaches that, like, early on, everybody gave him a tough time, but he really, like, through my high school career, he definitely worked his way up the ranks, and it was obvious that he put the work in, and it was just fun to see you grow as a coach. And
I was young, man.
Forming relationships.
Your freshman year is my second year, and so your freshman year was like the first year where I actually, like, I know what's going on a little bit, and I found my voice a little bit. But I grew up as a young coach, just like you guys did together. So I think that's why that bond is there, and just the memories we had together. So and I'll say this too, like your senior year, the success that we had in beating Firelands 35-6. And taking a picture from that scoreboard and doing those things together and going to a great West Holmes team and playing that game set the foundation for us to go to do what we did last year. And I know it took 2 years, but you got to see it. You're part of it, whether you're at every game or not. Like, you're part of it. You see what's going on within our community. That doesn't happen without your group, right? And the success that we're gonna have this year and next year and those years don't happen without last year's group. And that group was influenced by your group. And so it's the foundation that's set, but that's part of culture within our school district and in our program, and it's something to be proud of, and you're a cornerstone of it. So
Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Do we talk any MOAC football on this podcast?
I try to stay away from it just because I do try to stay away because obviously a little bias on some things, but the floor is yours real quick. You got 2 minutes. We're over the hour mark on here. So.
Okay, so I would say MOAC football take this year, right? Obviously, I'm going to take by gung-ho Gallion Tigers. Love them to death. Love what the guys are doing over there. I have some input, so I'd like to see how it works out. See if they take my input. That's the thing. But I would say a dark horse that everyone has to look out for, and that I like a lot is the Presidents with CJ. I really like Coach CJ. Good guy, knows what he's doing. He gets that squad under control. I mean, they gave Gallion a run for their money last year, and I played for him. I played for him in the All-Star game when he was at Pleasant, and I really like him. And it's gonna be exciting to see what he does over there. But I'm taking the Gallion Tigers every day of the week.
Yeah, no, Coach Wessler. Obviously, my time at Harding is over, but I'll always root for my Presidents unless they're playing us. They're gonna be young this year. They got a lot of sophomores, but they got a lot of really talented sophomores. And you're right, Coach Wessler's got them going in a good direction. He's a great coach for that program. And like you said, you had fun that All-Star game. We went to it. I think but Coach Dick and I left right before you got to go play quarterback.
Yeah, and I threw a touchdown.
Yeah, you threw a touchdown. We left, literally. We left, and then the quarterback got hurt, and you had to go in, and you played, and you scored
a
a
touchdown.
touchdown.
I played a full half as a quarterback, and then Lincoln was supposed to.
Yeah.
Lincoln should have the first ball. I threw a perfect ball, only where 6'4" Lincoln Tyrell could catch, and he missed time to jump and missed it. But yeah. I mean, the fun fact is, Aiden Schmidt, one of the better quarterbacks in Gallion history for the past few years. I have a better passing stat line than him in the All-Star game, so that's something I just get to dangle over his head for the rest of his life. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right, Ho, we are grateful for you to hop on with us. Thanks for making the time. Thanks for finally getting. I'm glad we got to make it work, and this won't be the last time we hear from you. Maybe next off season, as you get healthy, we'll have you on again.
All right, sounds good. It was an honor. It was an honor to be on the Sabo Standard for the first time. I mean, I'm kind of offended that I wasn't the first guest, that Jacob Chambers got it before me, and I don't want to hear your excuses, but I am kind of offended that he was on there because I was probably like one of the first ones that know about it in the coming up days. But I'll accept your apology. You don't have to say anything.
Hey, I was looking back at our text when I sent you what we were doing. I did text you on January 22nd because on January 21st I did give you a shout out. And it was our, I know you remember it. Ancestors protect.
Oh, yeah, I did. That's a classic.
Yeah, yep.
That's a classic.
Oh, man. The good memories. Do you know have you listened? I'm sure you haven't got to listen to full episode. I know you're loyal, but a full episode. Have you ever got to the end?
I think I might have scrolled to the end on the Jacob one, but I haven't. I have not. They do not. I think I might know the closing, but I'm not totally for sure.
Do you want to take a guess?
Oh, my. It's that, isn't it?
No, that was just that one I did for you.
Okay, I have no clue then.
All right, it's a classic. Jamal Williams. If you're gonna piss like a puppy, stay on the porch. Let the big dogs eat.
Dogs eat. Another edition of the Sabos.
Because if you go piss like a puppy, stay on the porch and let the big dogs eat.